All right, we are going to give this reflection a try. All right, so this is reflection one. My name is Eli. This is off of chapter one from A Collaborative Approach to Transition Planning for Students with Disabilities. So the first question is find your state department of special ed website, usually listed under the Department of Education. Review the website and describe what it says about transition planning. So under the Minnesota Department of Education, there's a tab on the left side where you can find special education. And within that tab, there's a sub-tab that says secondary transition. And there's a whole page. Basically, the page is a collection of resources and tools to help students and parents and guardians and educators plan for transition using the IEP process to meet both federal and state requirements. So this page has everything from resources for vocational rehab services or employment First, things like Employment First provides access to Minnesota's Employment First policy, as well as in tools and resources, helping some people with disabilities find competitive employment. They've got everything from financial resources to, life courses, work incentive connections, reintegration, all sorts of stuff for transition. And they also have related off-site resources links to different disability resources within colleges, technical assistance centers, National Center for Secondary Education and Transition. So there clearly is a lot of resources on here for transition and helping students, but also the whole team of people helping with transition. So, second question says, describe how your local district implements child find procedures. So, the district that I work in right now is Hopkins School District, and there's a couple different things that Hopkins School District has. They have an early childhood special education program which serves children from birth to ages 5 that are found eligible for services. Let me get my cheat sheet out here. They give comprehensive evaluations to determine eligibility, looking at strengths and needs of the child. They also have an early intervention program besides the early childhood special education program that is from birth to 3, and they meet with caregivers, and they normally use the primary coach approach to support the child and caregiver by building confidence and skills in order to support child development within child and family routines at home. So there is that early intervention program along with the early childhood special education. They also have a 3 to 5 preschool program. It's housed at a family center within our school district, but they also work with pre-K and the kids transitioning into pre-K and kindergarten at the actual elementary schools. All sorts of professionals they have for these services: OT, PT, speech, social workers, parapsychologists. All are utilized to help in the child find process. They also offer replacement services, center-based and inclusive in the preschool as well. And then screenings are offered for students 3 through 5 for kindergarten readiness. Pretty easy to just go online and check. But from my research with Hopkins, they have a pretty robust child find program, and there's a lot of resources out there for caregivers and guardians who may be worried or would like to meet with the team to have some of their child's strengths and needs looked at. So question number 3, it says, using the personal information from the reflection questions in the chapter, analyze and discuss what impact your beliefs or beliefs of others may have had on your work with a student. So if you go to page 19 in the book, the self-reflection exercise basically says, have you ever judged a person's intelligence based on his or her physical appearance? Have you ever discussed the limits of education of a group of individuals with disabilities? Have you ever based a vague or overly general information about a child? It basically is talking about kind of making assumptions. Have you ever wondered what a parent did that may have caused a disability? Or have you ever asked a child with a disability what he or she might need to be able to learn? So, I think everyone, I mean, maybe you haven't, asked a child with a disability what they may need to learn, but everyone's kind of judged a person's intelligence based on their physical appearance. I feel like most people do it on a daily basis when we're interacting with people, either at work or the grocery store or something like that. You might look at them and immediately have a preconceived notion or a judgment of how they might speak, their intelligence level, anything like that, just by how they're dressed or how they look or how they carry themselves or anything like that. What does it say? Analyze and discuss. So, I mean, really what I try to do is just kind of walk in with a clean slate and understand that, I might have preconceived notions. A teacher who worked with this student the year before might have preconceived notions about a student, but you really got to walk in and give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, I had issues growing up with my family where they just assumed things about me, and it was rather unfortunate. You didn't really get to see the whole picture, really understand. When you just assume things about someone going in, you don't give them the full chance to really show themselves or what they can do, because you have some sort of preconceived notion about them. So have you ever been uneasy in a social situation where a person with a disability was present? Sure. Growing up, there wasn't nearly as many kids with disabilities in our schools, or at least for me, being in my mid-30s now. And because of that, we just weren't exposed to it as much, and therefore it was somewhat awkward when you would be around them, as in students with disabilities, because we just weren't used to it. And now I feel like a lot more of my elementary general ed students understand the students I work with, and they're used to students being different or learning differently or possibly acting differently. So I think it's kind of come full circle in that students now are a little bit more open and understanding in certain circumstances. So, and then 3 topics that are new information regarding transition and special education. So there's 3 things that I found in the book. The first one was on pages 9 and 10, where they talk about anxiety and other health impairments. And I never really I never really knew that, something such as severe anxiety, if it is affecting your schooling so much, you can receive services, or you can get transition services, and I just found it quite interesting that anxiety was on there, as well as some of the other big transition I'm at a loss for words right now. Other health impairments or things that you might need transitions for. So I never knew that. And then on page 14 and 15, they talk about the age of majority control of mental health treatment and how that varies. And I guess I never really knew that some states, you didn't really have that right until you're 21. Most states are 18, some are 19, but I guess I just never really knew that was a thing. I just assumed if you were 18, you were an adult and you had full rights over, over your mental health treatment and your IEP and things like that, but it's different for each state. And then on page 13, they talk about inviting students to their own IEP. And of course, I always say, why not? There was a lot in the book about, they might not understand and it might be a lot for the students. But if we start at a young age, of course, not super young, but if you start at a young age, having the students be involved in the IEP and coming to meetings or kind of understanding what is being talked about, I really think they can be an integral part of that team. So, of course, it's situational, but I feel like including students in an IEP can be really beneficial to them in certain circumstances. So that's what I have for Reflection 1. Hope that hits all the notes, and we'll see you later for Reflection 2. Thanks.